Hey Y&R fans! Waving hand, welcome to Y&R Trends, your go-to spot for the juiciest young and the restless updates, shocking spoilers, and all the drama you can't stop talking about. From surprise returns to scandalous twists, we break it all down for you, every day. So grab your coffee, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive right into Genoa City's hottest gossip. At Society, Audra opened up to Sally about what transpired in France. As she took a sip of her drink, Audra said to her friend, "You have no idea." She claimed to Sally that she had set up a trap for Kyle in order to deceive him, and that Kyle had later told Victor about her. Victor stopped funding Vibrante, Audra added. Audra moaned, "Now I have less than nothing left. Victor demands payment for his investment." Sally muttered ouch, but she asked her friend what she anticipated happening. Audra was upset that Sally was going to say, "I told you so," and she turned to go, but Sally persuaded her to make the most of a fine gin and tonic. Audra made the decision to remain. "Victor does what Victor wants," Sally said. She went on to say that Audra might have misjudged Kyle's affection for Claire. Audra was asked by Sally whether she really believed she could persuade Victor to give her another opportunity. Audra said, "There's an art to seduction." Victor wasn't known for his patience, Sally pointed out. Audra insisted that she and Nate were doing well, and joked that Kyle is in love with the way Claire looks at him with her large, boring eyes. Sally made the point that she would be the one removed if Kyle or Victor told Nate what nearly happened. Nate won't ever know what transpired in Nice, according to Audra. She revealed that while she was upset about Damien, Kyle gave her a kiss. Sally recommended to her friend that she leave. "Playing things safe never got anyone anywhere," Audra said. Sally questioned Audra's inability to let it go. "It was because she had lost Vibrante," Audra explained. "How could she let Nate know she was no longer with her?" Sally advised her to inform Nate that she had made the decision to leave Vibrante. Audra wasn't certain that telling yet another falsehood was the best course of action. Sally informed Audra that Billy and Kane were working together to obtain Chancellor. "Where did it leave Sally?" Audra inquired. Sally claimed to have taken precautions to keep herself safe. If Billy regained control of Chancellor Industries, she persuaded him to sign Abbott Communications to her. Audra was impressed. Although Sally wasn't certain Billy would pursue it, her loyalty to Abbott Communications convinced her otherwise. Audra was invited to work with Sally. Billy was satisfied with Sally's statement that Kane had a plan. Sally claimed that she could persuade Billy to hire Audra and that she would at the very least serve as COO, if not CEO. Jack and Diane might stop her from joining Abbott Communications, according to Audra. "That might not be a problem," Sally said. Thanking Sally, Audra said she was one of the few individuals who recognized her true self. Audra claimed to love Sally because she believed in her, but she still needed to decide what to do next. Then they reached Society, Kyle and Claire. When Sally saw them, she recommended that Audra get another drink. Claire didn't worry Audra, but Sally was right to believe that Claire knew. There was nothing Kyle could do to stop Claire from confronting Audra. Claire said, "I know what you tried to do." Audra slyly claimed not to understand what Claire was talking about while Sally attempted to act as referee. Then Audra launched her assault. Kyle was referred to as pathetic by her. Audra acknowledged that Kyle was deceiving her, but that the phone charger tale was a fabrication. "Believing him is foolish," Audra remarked. "Kyle was undoubtedly in her room," she added. According to Audra, Kyle voluntarily took part in the Vibrante versus Jabot concept. Claire questioned Audra's motivation. Audra brought up the fact that she and Kyle had previously been involved and that he had first slept with her in Nice. According to Kyle, that was untrue. Before it was too late, Audra begged Claire to open her eyes. Kyle couldn't determine which lady he wanted, she said. Sally decided to go and took Audra with her. Claire was requested by Kyle to express her lack of faith in Audra. Adam called a colleague at Newman Media and inquired about the Dumas/Kane story, asking them to postpone the attack piece on Billy. Claire and Kyle interrupted him. "I was there to make a deal," Claire explained. Adam had no idea what kind of agreement he would reach with Jabot Cosmetics. In light of losing Cole, he inquired about Claire's well-being. Claire declared that she would not be concerned about Victor. "It would take guts to confront Victor," Adam added. If Victor wasn't happy, Claire didn't give a damn. Claire declared, "I'm going to live my life as I see fit." Adam was family, thus selling her his house wouldn't be business, according to Claire. He went on to say that he would be upset if he sold his place to Claire and Kyle. Kyle replied that if Adam showed up, he could give him some business. Adam questioned why they valued his place so much. "I like the view," Claire joked. Then Victor showed up. He inquired as to whether Claire and Kyle were aware that they would not be able to use his place. Victor requested some alone time with Claire. Because of the way he treated Kyle, she had no interest. Kyle followed Claire as she left. Victor thought, "I was just trying to help her." Adam advised his father to stop trying to get rid of Kyle and embrace young love. Victor assured Adam that the Abbotts could be destroyed by Kane. Adam assured Victor that he would support his family, but he also noted that Victor's scheme would drive Claire farther away. Victor claimed to be knowledgeable. Victor then gave Kane a call. Victor said to Kane, "I need to talk to you." Lily wondered what Kane was attempting to do at Crimson Lights. According to Devon, Kane wants to reunite with Lily. Lily claimed that Damien's body on a stretcher is all she can think about. Devon claimed to remember the intense love that existed between Lily and Kane. He brought up the fact that when Carter had a gun on Lily, Kane volunteered himself as a hostage in order to save her life. Lily remained steadfast in her stance with Kane. Lily inquired as to Devon's thoughts on Hillary. Devon stated that he believed he would never recover from that. Devon claimed that he was fortunate to discover contentment with Abby. If it was so difficult to see her, Lily added, Kane shouldn't have returned to Genoa City. Devon invited Victor to join him and Lily, and Victor accepted. Victor inquired about Dominic and Abby. According to Devon, Dominic continues to inquire about Chance's visitation schedule for feeding the ducks. Lily was asked by Victor if she was aware that Kane was in town. She was attempting to avoid him when she replied yes. That wasn't a good idea, Victor said. Disagreeing, Lily questioned whether Victor intended her to spy on Kane. Victor urged her to consider it because Kane and Chancellor Industries might pursue Winters. They all want to get rid of him, so Victor said it could be a good idea to find out what Kane has planned. Victor proposed that Lily give Kane the impression that they might be able to work things out. Devon and Lily received some gifts from Esther. Esther was assured that Dumas was Kane. Esther implored them not to tell Sharon, but she did offer to give them more free snacks. Devon inquired if Victor had reached Lily. Lily expressed her suspicions about Kane. She remembered Damien's kindness. Lily declared that she will always blame Kane for Damien's passing. Although she was unable to spy on Kane on Victor's behalf, she couldn't shake the feeling that Victor was right. Devon said that there were alternative methods for Lily to learn about Kane's progress without risking her life. Lily was curious whether Devon believed that Winters was susceptible to Kane. Lily acknowledged that she was considering her options. Devon advised her to follow her instincts. Kane was involved in more than just purchasing real estate, as Lily noted. She was worried that Maddie and Charlie might fall for Kane's affluence. Devon suggested that Lily not give Kane the impression that she was interested in him. Could it be the only thing stopping Kane, Lily wondered? Lily and Devon hadn't touched their muffins, Esther noted. Perhaps it was the grief, she thought. After removing the muffins, Esther packed them for Lily and Devin. Kane was the smartest person in the room, Devin noted. According to Lily, speaking with Kane would be worthwhile in order to obtain the information. According to Devin, Lily's safety is not worth anything. Sitting in the low light of her living room, Lily stared at the half-empty glass of wine on the coffee table while her hands trembled. Her heartbeat felt louder than it should have because of the eerie stillness of the night outside. For days, she had been trying to persuade herself that Kane's recent actions were simply stress, possibly the result of a botched business transaction, or some private annoyance he hadn't spoken. But she knew in her heart that something was wrong. After the last time his temper almost cost them everything, she thought she would never have to see that old, dangerous sparkle in his eyes again. It didn't help that she had heard whispers earlier in the evening. A low growl, a name, a whispered phone call, Holden. The way Kane said it chilled her to the bone, even though she hardly knew the man. It wasn't informal. It wasn't cordial. It was aimed at. She had gone to Crimson Lights earlier that day for her normal cup of coffee, believing that a little caffeine would prevent her thoughts from going into overdrive. Instead, she had gone straight into an unanticipated storm. There was Holden, talking to Sharon while he leaned idly against the counter. Despite his smile, there was a hint of sharpness underlying the charm in his voice. The only tidbits of town rumors Lily had heard concerned Holden probing Kane's past and asking questions no one had asked him. His eyes were fixed on her as if he knew something she didn't, yet his smile remained unwavering when he saw her. Her gut nodded, but she forced herself to grin back. She couldn't get Holden's sly stare out of her mind by the time she reached home. He seemed to have been waiting for her to arrive so he could issue a warning without uttering a word. She kept the experience from Kane, in part because she was scared he already knew and in part because she wasn't sure how he would respond. Kane was in a worse mood than she had seen him in months when he got home that evening. Without a word, he withdrew to his study, hardly gave her a glance, and did not touch his food. She was aware that she shouldn't follow right away, so she paced for 30 minutes before coming close. At that moment, she heard him talking to the phone in a low, poisonous voice. "Holden won't be an issue for very long," he stated. "No one crosses me and walks away," was said after a little silence and a faint laugh. Lily felt Kane may hear her heart thumping so loudly that she froze outside the door. She was having trouble breathing. Her instincts warned her against interrupting and demanding an explanation. Rather, she retreated in silence, each step becoming more strident. The pieces were beginning to fit together in her head in ways she hoped they wouldn't. Holden was in danger. Actual risk. She was trapped in a nightmare that she was unable to escape if Kane was sincere and meant what she believed him to mean. That night, it was impossible to sleep. Kane slept next to her, breathing evenly and deeply, as though nothing was wrong, while she laid in bed and stared at the ceiling. In the dim moonlight, she swiveled to face him. She had battled for her, lied for her, and even bled for her. This was the man she had loved for years. However, this man also had adversaries, some of whom simply vanished. Even though she didn't want to accept it, she couldn't help but feel a knot of dread twist in her stomach. All of her instincts told her that Holden's days, if not his hours, were running out. Lily made the decision to give it a try the following morning. She gently mentioned meeting Holden at Crimson Lights at breakfast, keeping an eye out for any changes in Kane's expression. He made no effort to conceal it, his eyes narrowed slightly and his jaw tensed, confirming her worst suspicions. Without raising his gaze from his coffee, Kane stated bluntly, "You should avoid him. He's trouble." Kane shrugged when she inquired as to why. She was shocked by the contempt in his tone as he said, "Some people just are." This was more than a passing distaste. It was a personal matter. Lily found herself checking her phone every few minutes during the day, half expecting Holden to call and beg for assistance, and half anticipating a news alert. She wanted to alert him, but she wasn't sure how to do that without revealing that she had heard Kane. She might give Kane away if she moved too quickly. It might be too late if she delayed too long. She kept thinking about what-ifs, each one getting worse than the last. She recognized her opportunity that night. Lily picked up her phone and contacted Holden as soon as Kane's car pulled out of the driveway, since he had been called into an unexpected appointment across town. After the second ring, he responded in a cautious tone. "Lily?" She paused, searching for the appropriate phrase. "Holden, I believe you should use caution." After a pause, Holden laughed, but his laugh was devoid of amusement. "About Kane?" "You've heard, then?" He continued by saying that he had information Kane didn't want to leak and that he knew Kane was observing him. But he muttered something that chilled Lily's blood before she could ask for more information. "I'm not the type of man that easily frightens people." Before she could reply, the line died. "He'd better be prepared for what's coming if he comes for me." Lily's nerves were shot when Kane returned home later. Every statement felt like a performance, even though she attempted to act regular. Holden's warning and the way Kane's eyes seemed to follow her every step, as though he knew she had done something behind his back, were on her mind constantly. Though she secretly doubted it, she told herself she was imagining it, paranoia fueled by remorse. The tension eventually boiled over 2 days later. Kane arrived home late, with a slight scrape on his knuckles and a rumpled shirt. He offered Lily a hazy response about handling business when she inquired where he had been before heading straight to the shower. The throbbing in her brain was not muffled by the sound of the running water. The fear kept coming back, even though she wanted to think it was nothing. Or worse, was Holden already sprawled out in an alley? She didn't receive her answer, or at least a portion of it, until the following morning. There were few details, but witnesses claimed to have seen Holden arguing with a man outside a downtown bar just before the attack, and a breaking news piece flashed over the TV. Holden had been hospitalized following what police were calling a violent confrontation. There had been no arrests. As if it were any other day, Kane sipped his coffee without responding to the news. Lily felt sick to her stomach because of that serenity and that uncanny distance. Locking the toilet door behind her, she excused herself so she could ponder without his prying gaze. There was no longer any suspicion. This actually happened. Whatever had happened, Holden had barely lived, and she couldn't get rid of the thought that Kane had been there. She didn't want to acknowledge that the man she trusted and loved was capable of things. She might now have to live with the knowing that she allowed it to happen if she didn't take action. Lily was aware that she had 2 options, but neither seemed viable. She may push Kane deeper into whatever darkness had gripped him if she faced him. She would be betraying her children's father and destroying what was left of their family if she went to the police. However, if she did nothing, Holden might become the next victim in a long line, and she would also have to deal with his blood. The days that followed were a haze of silent fear. Lily kept discussions brief, avoided Kane as much as she could, and forced a grin when she had to. Through common contacts, she inquired about Holden's health and was relieved to learn that he was still alive but in poor condition. She considered going to see him in the hospital, but the danger seemed too severe. Kane would see. Kane never failed to notice. One evening, Lily stood at the window and watched the streetlights flicker as the sun sank below the horizon. Even before she heard Kane speak, she could sense his presence behind her. He said softly, "You've been quiet lately," yet there was a hint of mistrust in his inquiry. Her expression was neutral as she turned to face him, trying to hide her dread. "I'm just exhausted," she answered. His gaze swept over hers, as though attempting to reveal the layers she was concealing. She briefly believed he may press harder, but he only nodded and turned to leave. Lily was awake again that night, the space between them in bed feeling like an unsaid battlefield. She came to the realization that the man she had previously believed she could save might already be lost. Holden might not be the last person to be targeted by him if she couldn't figure out a way to stop him. Torn between love and the fear of what love had become, the notion kept her still as she stared into the darkness, wondering how much longer she could live this way.